So back talking about diastasis recti again, but this time we're going to look at how we actually measure it. If you haven't seen the video on what it actually is and why it's important to check this, then please go back and watch that one first and then come back to measure it once you've watched that. We're actually going to check your abdominal separation or potential separation at a few points along the line running from just below the chest bone down the front of the abdomen. Okay, so to do that, we're going to bring you down onto your back. What I like to tell people to do when they're coming down to lay on their back is if you want to side sit, as I'm doing at the moment, hands on the floor, slide the hands away from you and then roll onto your back. And that's just because it puts much less pressure on the lower back. But again, particularly if you've recently had a baby, if you do have that separation of the abdominals, or you've had a C-section, then it avoids increasing that intra-abdominal pressure and putting more tension through an already weakened area. So now rolling onto our back, we're going to get ourselves comfy. Always just give yourself a few seconds just to find a comfortable position and let your breathing adapt to what's normal for you. You'll see I've got my feet, my knees bent and feet are flat on the floor. And I've got a natural curve between my lower back and the floor here. If you find that your chin is riding all the way up, just put a small cushion beneath your head. Okay, so we're going to take our fingers, just 2 fingers there, and find your belly button. And then all you're going to do is trace a line from the belly button straight up towards the chest bone, just feeling for the give under your fingers, just feeling if they do press into the abdomen or whether you can already feel that it's quite firm underneath. So then you're going to do the same thing from the belly button down towards the pelvis. And again, feeling for whether there's a gap, you can comfortably get those fingers in between, or whether things feel quite naturally close together. If there is a gap, don't worry, that's what we're measuring here. Then what you're going to do is put one hand behind the head if you need to support your neck. And again, we'll start high up this time, so just below the chest bone. And then all you're going to do is take a breath in. As you breathe out, just bring up the head as you press those fingers down. Lower the head back down. So there you're trying to feel for, again, whether there's a gap that you can slide your fingers into, whether the gap feels bigger than your 2 fingers. If it does, try it with 3 fingers, gradually increasing until you can feel the outer edges of that gap. However many fingers you can insert, that's your measure. Then we're going to do exactly the same measure in the same place again, feeling for if you can tighten or create tension in there. So what I want you to do at this point is imagine squeezing the abdominal muscles and gently lifting your pelvic floor, so as if you're stopping yourself from passing wind and doing a wee. So take a breath in again, and as you breathe out, just create that bit of tension and bring the head up. So can you feel it go firm under your fingers at that point? If you can, or whether you can't, just note it down on a piece of paper or use the guide on the website. So then we're going to move the fingers down about 2 inches, go through exactly the same routine. So breath in, breathe out, bring the head up, come down. So we'll do the same thing again, this time gently lifting that pelvic floor, so squeezing as if you're holding yourself from doing a wee, and come up. Note down what you find, and then move down again to just above the belly button. So probably about 1 inch above the belly button. Exactly the same routine again. So lift and press, relax down. This time gently lift that pelvic floor, come up again. Make sure you note down your results, and note down your results as you're going through this rather than trying to remember the stages. Then we'll do exactly the same, probably about midway between your belly button and the top of your pelvis. Breath in. And as you breathe out, head comes up, pressing down. Relax down. Now gently create that tension through the abdomen. So holding in that wind, squeezing the pelvic floor, gently bringing the head up and applying that pressure down. And that's how you measure your diastasis recti. Remember to come up from the floor, roll back onto the sides and push yourselves up. And again, that's to avoid putting more pressure on an abdomen that may be a little bit delicate after carrying your baby and giving birth.